Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Jake Kleinknecht here, along with, of course, head coach Scott Langer. Coach, another successful weekend here at the ODI Center. A Friday night, a 6-1 win. A power play that went 1 of 3. The kill was perfect. A lot to be happy about with that game. Maybe not the strongest third, as you mentioned on Saturday night. But what did you guys think of Friday night's matchup?
Yeah, I thought offensively we were pretty good. Obviously, Manti had a real big game and scored some really nice goals. But I thought, offensively, right from the start in the first period, we were really good. We were making a lot of plays, which is something that we preach a lot around here. So, yeah, obviously they had a really good third period against us, and our goaltending was really good. But you're going to have that. Austin has a knack for being really good in the third period and coming out hard, and we knew that, and they did. But because we played so well defensively and we hung on and weathered the storm, that we were able to salvage the 2 points.
Moving on to Saturday, a 6-2 win. Again, the power play strong, 2 of 7, and the kill 1 out of 6. A shorthanded goal, which was a really pretty goal, actually. Again, you know that they're going to come out strong in the third period, and they've proven that game after game after game, it seems like. And they came back a little bit, but Goldowski put another one on the board and put a little more distance between you guys and kind of helped close things off with Kevin MacKay getting another one and then Goldowski another yet. So they give a little bit of a threat, but again, you guys found a way to seal the deal and will come away with the 2 points. What was your thoughts on Saturday?
They definitely delivered some adversity there for us in the third period. They came out and had a great start and obviously scored 2 goals and made the game pretty close. And what I liked is the response that we had. Yeah. We again, we didn't go away by any means. When the momentum really shifted in Austin's favor there in the third, and Goldowski scores on a heck of a play by that whole line. Scores a great goal and kind of gets the energy back going in our direction. And we've been fortunate with that this year. That in situations where we're facing some adversity, someone seems to be a leader and steps up and gives us that energy we need to finish out the game.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because that was something I wanted to touch on, actually. And we've talked about depth ad nauseum. I'm going to beat that with like a dead horse, but the reality is that in key moments like that, when you feel that the momentum has shifted a little bit or something, there have been numerous guys that have stepped up throughout the year. We've talked about Nielsen and Matsui and Verdez, of course. This weekend, actually the last 2 weekends, Goldowski has come up really big. And then Thomas Manti, as you said on Friday. I mean, anybody in this locker room, it can be their night. And it always just seems like it's interesting who the spotlight's going to find that particular night and who's making the best of the opportunities. But it's interesting to me how it plays out like that, how you are able to get the momentum back, and sometimes it comes from somebody that you might not be expecting it.
Yeah, and that's leadership. We obviously talk about that all the time, that everybody's not going to be having their best game, and guys are going to need help, and there's always someone in this locker room that seems to take the leadership role and steps up and gives us what we need, whether it's Schneider with a huge block shot, Sarbella Wasik, or Brycer with a big save, or we've been very fortunate enough, and obviously that shows the depth of our locker room, because it's always nice when someone's not, I wouldn't say pulling their weight, but you can't have a great game every night. It just doesn't happen at this level. But we always seem to have someone get us going in the right direction. And you're right, Goldowski, he's been a really big add for our team, and he adds so much to our depth, and he has the ability to make plays, and obviously he can score at his size. So it's good to see him stepping up. It adds a lot more depth to us.
Well, we talked on Saturday night, about Thomas Manti having a hat trick there on Friday. I mean, he's just kind of comes natural to him scoring goals.
Yeah, it does, and he's he's a guy, when he's feeling it, he's really feeling it.
Yeah.
He's had some big games this year. I think he ended up with 5 points on the weekend, and all were big points. So you can always tell when Manti's having a good game and he's scoring, because he's smiling. When he's not scoring, he's not smiling very much. But he had a terrific weekend all around. I thought both games he was a huge factor. On the power play, and obviously his line with Matsui and Verdez, so they're tough to play against. So he was a big part of it.
Without a doubt. It's great to see that, like you said, when somebody's maybe not maybe they're not feeling the best. Maybe it's just not their night, whatever. There's always somebody that can step into that role. Well, Coach, on many occasions I've talked with you about the pride that this organization and you take and how much it means to you guys to move players on to college. Something else kind of occurred to me over the weekend with the girls varsity Cougars winning the state championship yesterday. PWC state championship earlier this year, and then the Bantam A. 3 state championships at the Cougar level here in Aberdeen. And as long as I could remember, and I even reached out to some people to see if they could, I can't ever remember where Aberdeen has had 3 state championships at the Cougar level in the same year. And I got to thinking about the influence that the Wings have had on the Aberdeen Hockey Association and on the community as a whole. I mean, I think that was part of Greg's goal was to help advance the sport of hockey in the whole area, and I really think that's happened. You know, when you look back, I was even coaching at that level at the mites, termites, and so on, and they had the biggest numbers of enrollment or kids getting involved in the sport, about 10 years ago, and those kids are making their way through the the developmental system, and now starting to bring home some trophies and stuff, and I just think that's so cool. And I wanted to get your thoughts on what role you feel like the Wings have had on the younger kids in this community, because there's plenty of them in those stands every night, and they're getting autographs and all that stuff, and just seeing all the hard work and the level of hockey that can be as entertaining as it is, and gives them something to work towards. Yeah,
it's it's definitely, I think there's a trickle down effect, and there's a lot of pride in the hockey world in Aberdeen, and obviously when the Ole family bought this team, their whole thing was to grow youth hockey, and obviously they've done a great job there. And I just think when you constantly have a winning product within your arena, and all those kids are out there supporting us, and they see the success, and then they see the players moving on to college, and they're getting to follow them, and I just think that's kind of what junior hockey is all about.
Yeah.
When junior teams move into communities, you see the youth hockey kind of blossom and take off and really grow strong, and I think that's what the Odies have created here. But it's great to see that all those young players, they stand outside your door every night, and they're fist bumping your guys and asking for sticks and all that stuff. So I think it does rub off a little bit, and I think we should be proud of that as an organization, and I know that we do everything we can to help the Cougar organization, and it's a good relationship.
Yeah, and it really is. I mean, even just the autograph signing event with the player trading cards, and seeing those kids, just stare in awe as the guys are signing their names, or even at the bowling bash yesterday, all the people that were there, many of them have had kids that have gone through the Cougar system, or little kids that I saw on many occasions, them walking their way all the way down, each alley, getting every player's signature on their cards and stuff. And you just I had to stop and take that in for a minute, and I just thought how cool it was to see those young kids interacting with the players and stuff, and that was really cool. And of course, the bowling bash with the Aspire Foundation was a huge success, and all the players hopefully had a good time, but it went over pretty well. So great to see the community involvement and so on, as we've talked about before too. But Austin, you're done with 8-0 on the season. You won't see them again until, potentially the postseason. But on to St. Cloud, on the road to St. Cloud after they swept Minot over the weekend. Both games went to overtime, but still, they come away with 4 points on the weekend, and a team that seems to be heading in the right direction. What do you know about St. Cloud, and what have you got to do?
Well, they're definitely riding some confidence, and you knew it was just a matter of time with Corey Millen being on the bench there. He's a real seasoned coach, and he's done a good job wherever he was. He's a national champion in this league, so he's done a good job of bringing guys in, especially at the deadline, and he made his squad deeper, and they're winning games, and they're going to be a good test for us. You can't take penalties against them. You're going to have to play extremely hard, and they're good defensively. They added another solid goaltender in Langfeld, so they have 2 options now in net. That there's some competition over there, and I think that's just going to make their goalkeeping even better. I just think that we're going to have to be good, because we're living on the road for quite a bit here, a stretch on the road, and we're going to have to find ways to take points to stay on top. And, we're going to prepare really hard this weekend to play St. Cloud, and we have to be smart about our approach when we head in there.
Well, as I was mentioning, St. Cloud definitely improving as they actually leapfrog Austin in the standings. Wings, of course, at the top of the Central Division with 63 points, 33 games played. Bismarck in second with 45 points and 36 games played. Minot with 31 points and 33 games played. Then the Minnesota Wilderness with 26 points, 27 games played. St. Cloud moves up a spot. They have 23 points now and 30 games played, while Austin at the bottom with 22 points and 32 games played. Coach, that's really all I've got for you. I appreciate you taking some time. And again, best of luck coming up against the Norsemen.
Thanks, Jay.
All right, folks, we'll continue on with the second portion of Wings Weekly coming up after this.
How you move matters. Avera Orthopedics helps you move freely and live life to the fullest with innovative treatment options customized to your bone, muscle, and joint needs. Whether you suffer from aches, breaks, tears, or dislocations, turn to the orthopedic team experienced in treating every body.
Welcome back as we continue on with Wings Weekly, and as usual in the second portion of Wings Weekly we have a player joining us, and today it's Kevin MacKay of Franklin, Massachusetts. 3 goals and 8 assists on the season. Kevin, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing well. Big goal for you on Saturday night here at the ODI Center after sweeping the Austin Bruins. You know, when I get a player on, I always just kind of want to start with the beginning. I mean, because when you start a book, that's where you begin, right? It's at the first page. So how does your first page of your hockey history get started? When did you start skating? How did you really, kind of fall in love? How did it become a passion of yours?
So my neighbors had a backyard rink, and that's where I started to skate when I was like 3 or 4. And then my older brother actually played hockey because of my neighbors, so I just followed along.
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay, and imagine, again, when you've got an older brother that's playing, the whole family gets involved. You've got to have a hockey mom who's making meals and driving people places and doing, parents have a lot in the hockey world. I think maybe even more so than other sports. It's because of the gear that has to get carried and all that kind of stuff, and skates sharpened and so on. But when did you decide the defense was your spot? When did you decide that's where you wanted to be? Or was it always that way, or did you try some different positions and so on?
I mean, it was mostly always that way, but there's times where I played forward, but I've always been a defenseman.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I always feel like there's a different mentality kind of to different positions sometimes. I think defensemen have this, especially kind of the stay-at-home defensemen have this kind of almost protector or guardian kind of, view or image of themselves, and I find that kind of interesting because oftentimes defensemen are a little bit more on the quiet side. They're, a little bit more, like I said, kind of almost that protector, because you guys don't like people messing with your goalie, for example, and So do you think that's got something to do with it too?
I would say so. I think defensemen are all protective, especially for goalies and forwards too.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So it's kind of you can use the term defenseman in a couple of different ways.
Yeah.
All right, well, you were with Cedar Rapids in the USHL, and then, of course, just before that, the South Shore Kings in the NCDC. How did you become a wing? How did that all transpire? Did you get a phone call, or did you go to a main camp?
When I was at Cedar Rapids, I was there for a few weeks, and the coach helped me out, and he said, hey, if you want, you can go to the Aberdeen Wings. So I was like, all right, yeah, for sure. So I got here, and that was the best decision, actually. So.
Yeah. What were your first impressions of the community and, the whole area, I guess, but then certainly first time you saw a home game and all of that?
It was awesome. The fans are amazing. But, South Dakota is very different where I'm from.
Yeah.
But, it's been good to me so far, so.
A little bit of culture shock. What's Franklin like?
Not like this. There's towns everywhere,
yeah.
So there's a lot more to do, a lot of buildings and everything, but yeah.
Not as much farmland, huh?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that you brought up the fans, and I wanted to touch on that a little bit because Friday night, as I was tearing my stuff down and packing up, there was a gal in the stands to my left that I think was there for one of the Austin players or a relative or something, who knows. But I heard her actually say to him as he came up the stairs, man, these fans are crazy. And I kind of laughed to myself, and I thought, clearly the games she's been at before, they haven't had fans that are up on their feet and yelling and screaming and as passionate as our fans are. Not to say, I don't know anything about this young woman or what games she had been to or not, but I just thought it was interesting that she was kind of impressed by our fans, and I got to thinking a little bit more about you guys and what it means to you when you're on the bench. You know, in between, as you're coming out, for example, in between periods, coming out from the locker room, and then as things are getting going, whether it be a goal or a big hit or a penalty or whatever, and you hear that roar of the crowd or a groan from the crowd or whatever, it's got to feel pretty good to know that they've got your back and that they're, they're supporting you guys the way that they do.
Yeah, exactly. It gets us going. You know, we don't want to let them down. So, yeah, for sure.
Well, and you saw it yesterday, even with the bowling bash. With Aspire, a lot of teams got put together that aren't necessarily bowlers, that just wanted to go hang out with a bunch of wings and have a good time and help, of course, a very worthwhile charity. Did you have fun at the bowling bash?
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I mean, I'm not very good though, so but it was a good experience.
It's kind of funny. I noticed there were a few guys that were like a little frustrated, like, this isn't my game. And I'm like, you know what? You can't be good at everything. You know, sometimes you're going to throw a gutter ball once in a while, but a good time. Had by a lot of people, and again, a great event supporting the Aspire Foundation. Let's see. Anybody that, well, we're not quite done yet, but I want to make sure and give you an opportunity to give a shout out to anybody back home or your family or anybody like that.
Shout out to my family, mom and dad. Just thank you for everything. Thank you for supporting me. So I miss you guys.
Excellent. All right. We've got St. Cloud coming up, and I'm going to get to that in just a moment, but I wanted to ask you a little bit, some kind of, weird questions. Weird, but philosophical questions. We'll go with that. Would you rather have super sensitive taste, like where everything that you taste is like overwhelming almost, or super sensitive hearing, where you can hear a pin drop from across the room?
Hearing.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Any particular reason why?
Because you just can hear everything, you know.
But what if there's some things you don't want to hear?
Well, yeah, that's how it has to be.
Well, that's true, I guess. You can have good with the bad. Let's see. Would you rather, I'm going to check out and see how much of a romantic you are. Would you rather never find true love or never find wealth? Doesn't mean you're going to be broke all the time. It just means you won't get rich.
Never find wealth, I would say so.
Okay. Good. How about, would you rather have the ability to read minds or the ability to fly?
Fly, easily, and go anywhere.
This is true. But think of all the manipulating you could do if you could read minds. Maybe that's not a good thing. Let's see. Okay. If you could go back in time, or actually not even go back in time, it could be modern times, whatever, but you could bring someone throughout history. It could be George Washington, it could be Benjamin Franklin, it could be Muhammad Ali, or anybody that you could have and sit down when they're in their prime, they're able to communicate and they're with it, I guess. Who would you have dinner with and why? Who would you want to sit there and pick their brain and ask questions to or whatever?
That's a tough question.
Yeah.
Maybe Bobby Orr, I would say so.
Yeah?
Just because, he played for the Bruins, just defenseman, just an icon. So, for sure.
What questions would you ask him?
Just everything about hockey, really, just how it started and everything.
Yeah. Excellent. A legend, that's for sure. Yeah. Okay, well, we've got St. Cloud coming up. We're on the road, as Coach mentioned, and we go on the road and then come back for a midweek game and then on the road again. It's been a lot of home games, but now this time of the year, as we get towards the second half here, or second portion, a lot of road games coming up. What do you have to have on the bus? What's something that because guys usually have pillows or earbuds or whatever. Usually there's a handful of things that people take on the bus, but what's one thing that you absolutely cannot take a roadie without?
Headphones.
Yep.
I always need to be listening to music.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Headphones and pillows, man, those are the top two answers, I think, because they are necessities. The bus. Again, on to St. Cloud. I've seen these guys a couple of times, but not a whole lot, considering, obviously as much as you have Austin and so on. What do you see as some keys, or what do you think that as a team, I just talked to Coach about what he saw as some keys and a little about them and about how they've improved. What do you guys need to do to come away with some wins?
I think we just got to play the way that we can play. They gave us our first loss, and we haven't forgot about that. So, they're a lot better than last time we played them. So we just gotta play our way, and I think we'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting, you know, and Coach and I have talked about it over the past couple of weeks too, that you know, one of the keys always seems to be, especially on the road, is getting off to a good start. Because first of all, I think I'd have to look now, and I forgot the stat, but I think you guys are 26-0 when scoring first. So it becomes, maybe, I think it might even be more than that, maybe even 27 now. I lost track after, because when I looked that up, it was 23-0, but it's been a handful of games ago. Anyway, the point is, scoring first and solid starts for you guys, well, probably from any team, is an important, is a key, and it's an important piece to getting going right away. How do you think that as a team you can best do that? I mean, how do you? Is it mental preparedness, or is it physical? You know, get the body going. What is the best way to get prepared?
I think for both. Yeah. For on the road, I think, you know, before the game, when in the locker room, we just gotta, as a group, just be ready. You know, and then when we get off the bus, just get our legs moving. I think, yeah.
So a little bit of both, for sure. And you know, and after, you know, winning as many games as you guys have, you know, I always wonder about a player's hunger. You know, does it get like, oh yeah, it's another win, or does every win, is it as sweet as the first?
Every win's as sweet as the first. You know, we don't want to lose, so, you know, when we come into every game, we want to win. When we win, it's awesome. So, yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, again, great games this weekend, and again, a huge game, a huge goal on Saturday night there when they started to kind of come back. You know, and we saw it happen in Austin. When it was 5-1 going into the third, and they score a handful of goals. Next thing you know, it's 5-4, and everybody, well, at least I was chewing my fingernails. But they made it 3-2. You guys add one on the board, and then you put another one in, and kind of put them away. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Let's see. Yeah, I wanted to mention, and I, of course, talked with Coach Langer about this, but I wanted to go ahead and once again congratulate the Aberdeen Cougars. The boys JV took 5th place at state. Lady Cougars took 1st place and won their state championship and the regular season title. They've won 6 of the last 7 state tournaments and 7 state regular season league titles. 7 straight years they've won the regular season title, and 6 of the last 7 they've won the state championship and brought the trophy home. Congratulations to both of them. Friday and Saturday, March 2nd and 12th and 13th at the St. Cloud Norseman, 7:10 puck drop both nights. Watch the game at Buffalo Wings and Rings or on hockeytv.com. Listen on 94.1 The Rock, hubcityradio.com, or the Rock app. Next home game is Wednesday, March 17th. That is St. Patrick's Day versus the Minot Minotauros. Tickets are available at tickets.aberdeenwings.com or at any Sea Express location. Other important upcoming dates: the Aberdeen Hockey Night Friday night is April 2nd. The Yelda Shrine Teddy Bear Toss will be April 3rd. That's Saturday, always a fun game. Season Ticket Appreciation Night is April 16th, and Parents Weekend coming up May 14th and 15th. Corporate night sponsorships are still available for all home games throughout the 2020-2021 season and playoffs. Call Aaron at 605-380-5852 for more information. Don't forget, Wings Weekly is now a podcast. Find the audio for this season's episode on Spotify, Stitcher, or on iHeartRadio. And for all of the latest news and information on the Wings, visit AberdeenWings.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. Well, Kevin, I think that's about all I've got for you. I appreciate you coming on the show, though, and giving us some time and giving us an opportunity to get to know you a little better.
Thank you for having me.
All right, folks, Kevin MacKay, and that will pretty much wrap up this week's Wings Weekly.